So I thought I would highlight a couple of interesting Advertising Standards Authority of Ireland decisions or statements that they've made over the past year. One of the hot topics, even this week, is influencer marketing, and we've had our first couple of decisions from the ASI in relation to complaints about influencer marketing. Uh, Both of them related to Snapchat or Snap, and whether these are snaps or posts, or do they constitute advertising? When should they be using disclosures? What type of disclosures they should use? And the idea, I'm not a huge Snapchat user myself, but this idea of stories or timeline snaps that last for 24 hours or fade after a while. And I just have a couple of decisions highlighted. The first one was a blogger who was paid to attend the Fast and Furious 8 movie premiere. And what she did at it was that this green screen technology, which allows them to superimpose her driving the Dodge car from Fast and Furious in her Snapchat timeline. She had actually used the disclosure at the start of the series of snaps. So she had her hashtag ad there. Her position was, look, I've put it up, everybody can see it's an ad, and that's it. But because of the way those series works, the first snap has the disclosure on it. Apparently, with green screen technology, it won't work to keep putting the same disclosure hashtag the whole way through them. So it fades after the first one. And the complaint that came in was that I went in and looked at this series of snaps halfway through it, and I didn't realize it was a paid for advertisement. And then also, she had also put up her own series of snaps at the end of it from the premiere, which apparently weren't being paid for by the producer. So what happened was the ASAI kind of said, well, look, we're going to scold you a little bit about this. We're not actually going to make a proper decision and punish anybody. We're just going to put out this guidance so that people know going forward. And their position is that if it's a paid for snap, if the influencer is being paid to do this, then it's a marketing communication and all of the code applies to it. But if it's not paid for and it's just something that they do afterwards themselves, then the advertiser isn't responsible for it. The second one was not dissimilar to what Brinsley highlighted earlier, this idea of a beauty influencer. And she took a drop a dress challenge using some kind of skinny tea, apparently. Don't know if that works or not, but um, the complaint was that these weren't disclosed as sponsored snaps. The advertiser in this case just shrugged their shoulders and said, this has nothing to do with us. We paid her, and after that, it's not our problem what she does with it. She's the one that's responsible for it. And she had actually put up an SB hashtag at the start, but the same problem arose that this is something that over time, the first snap is gone after whatever amount of time, and the other series of them doesn't have any disclosures on it. So the ASAI have said, look, that's tough luck. You'll have to come up with a way of figuring out how to get those disclosures the whole way through it. You can't just shrug your shoulders and say it's on the first one, and after that, because people do come in the middle of it and look at these. And they also highlighted that it's the advertisers who are responsible. If they've got a commercial relationship with this influencer or blogger or whatever they are, then they're responsible for the product that's coming out. And it's the onus is on them to ensure compliance. If there's disclosures missing halfway through it, then it's likely to mislead consumers. And lastly, just again, kind of it's topical in Ireland anyway, we've got an abortion referendum coming up in May, I think it is. And one of the issues that comes up is, and I think it came up with Brinsley when the Brexit referendum was on, what exactly is covered by advertising guidelines for politicians or political broadcasts or anything else. I know our ASAI code says that all marketing communications have to be honest, decent and truthful, which mightn't be something you'd associate with politicians a lot of the time. So they've kind of come out to preempt all the complaints this time and said, look, as far as we're concerned, these are non-commercial communications. We're not going to deal with them. There's no point sending in complaints. So open season for the politicians. They can say what they like. Thank you.